Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Crossover Ministries. My name is Nisha, and today I will give you guys all the word the Lord has given me. Early this morning, you guys, as I was laying in the bed, the Lord started to speak to me about obedience and sacrifice. And so He just brought to my attention. I don't know if familiar with the story about Saul when he was disobedient to God. He had brought that to my attention. I just remember a couple of years ago, he allowed me to send it to my pastor because people tend to think when they sacrifice something that they just did the best thing ever. And so they think that's the best thing you can do in the Lord's eyes. And so I guess what I want to just propose to you, is there something God is telling you to do? And here, like He tells you to do something, but you halfway do it and you don't do it the way He tells you. And so that's when you're being disobedient. And I think about with Saul when I was reading this in 1 Samuel chapter 15. And I could just kind of read this real quick for you. So I just kind of want to highlight some things too. But one day Saul said to Samuel, "It was the Lord who told me to anoint you as king of his people, Israel. Now listen to this message from the Lord. This is what the Lord of heaven armies has declared. I have decided to settle accounts with the nation of the Amalek, I think it is, for opposing Israel when they came from Egypt. Now go and completely destroy the entire Amalekite nation, men, women, children, babies, cattle, sheep, goats, camels, and donkeys." So they went in there and they did what the Lord said. And then it says, then Saul slaughtered the Amalekites from Havilah, I think it's Havilah, all the way to Shur, east of Egypt. He captured Agag, the Amalekite king, but completely destroyed everyone else. Saul and his men spared Agag's life, and kept the best of the sheep and goats, the cattle of the fat calves, and the lambs. Everything, in fact, that appealed to them. They destroyed only what was worthless or poor in quality. So here he goes in there. Now, we all read just in verse 3. Now, go and completely destroy the entire Amalekite nation. What did he do? He spared the king's life. And then it says, for it talked about kill the cattle, the sheep, the goats, camels, and donkeys. What did they do? They went in there and they kept the best sheep, the goats, and the cattle, and the fat calves, and the lambs, and everything, in fact, that appealed to them. So this is when the Lord is fed up, because Saul clearly went in there and disobeyed everything that the Lord had instructed him to do. And so, so then I was reading also in verse 12, and it says, early next morning, Samuel went to find Saul. Someone told him Saul went to the town of Carmel to set up a monument to himself. Then he went on to Gilgal. So now he's kind of praising, worshiping himself, so he's kind of getting a little big-headed. And then when it says, when Samuel finally found him, and this was in verse 13, when Samuel finally found him, Saul greeted him cheerfully. "May the Lord bless you," he said. "I have carried out the Lord's command." Then this is what Samuel said. "Then what is all the bleating of sheep and goats and the lowing cattle I hear?" And then this is what Saul says. "It's true that the army spared the best sheep, goats, and cattle." Once again, what did I say? The Lord said to destroy everything. Like, there should be nothing living and breathing in that nation. Even all the things they had, God didn't want to have anything to do with it. But of course, man gets in, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So he kind of changed it up. And so as you keep going, and like I said, you guys probably should read this for yourself. So he said, "But I did obey," which Samuel was telling me what he did was evil in the Lord's sight. "I carried out the mission he gave me. I brought back King Agag, but I destroyed everyone else. Then my troops brought the best sheep, goats, cattle, and plunder to sacrifice to the Lord your God in Gilgal." So Now he thinking because of what he did, now I'm going to give something to God, because honestly, he, to me, like when people do that right there, it's just to kind of cover up what you did. So, somebody like they know they messed up. So like, let's say if somebody stepped out on you and here they coming in with flowers and candy and maybe they buying you a ring, want to propose, so it's always something because he knew he had messed up. But this is what Samuel replied. What is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offering the fat of rams. Rebellion is as sinful as witchcraft, and stubbornness as bad as worshiping idols. So because you have rejected the command of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. What is it that the Lord is telling you to give up? What is it that the Lord is telling you to let go, and that and he wants to like start you all over with something. So for some of you, it can be family, friends. He had to take me away from friends. And I just, and I'll tell you, I thought, and that's what I'm saying, when we all got Saul in us. I don't care who you are. We all have it. And so here I'm thinking, well, if I let this group go, I'm just figuring, whether or not really, I'm not going to say I wasn't really when the Lord started to speak to me about those people. And plus I knew it was like a lot of negative impact. I'm thinking like, okay, so I let this group go. Next, he was telling me the other group. I'm like, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong with, with them. And here he's like, look, I'm trying to teach you something. I'm trying to get you by yourself. I'm trying to mold and shape you. But I can't do that because you got all these other people in your ears and they're over talking what I'm speaking to you about. And so I just remember I didn't want to. So I kind of ease myself away from, just ease little by little. But I'm thinking I can still hold on to the one, I'm gonna still hold on to the one because this person, they I'm thinking they understand, we both believe in God. So I'm just thinking like, okay. And he clearly was telling me, no, I need you to step away from that one too. I need you to step away because see, I need to get you somewhere else because I got somebody else, some other people that's gonna groom you and love you and and connect with you on the level that I have for you. So I need you to get away from that. And so it was not easy. And I'm gonna tell you, so what I do, I remember when he gave me, I'm gonna be honest, when I first did my first it was my fasting beginning of to bring me into 2020. And I just remember he was like, walk away, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to walk away from this person. This person's kind of going through something. So I'm just thinking, I thought it was a good thing, just like Saul. Saul thought it was a good thing. Well, we got the best meat and we're going to sacrifice it to the Lord. Well, it backfired on Saul, just like it backfired on me. It's like God turned that furnace up. He hardened the hearts of these people. People was acting nasty towards me. And so just think, if I just would have walked away like the Lord said in the beginning, sacrificing, but the main thing was being obedient to his word. So I was being disobedient. In the end, so like I said, it's a teachable moment. I've learned, it was a test. And yes, I might have failed the first time, but I passed it too, if you understand. So I eventually did. I ended up leaving those people because he ended up revealing to me their hearts. And so, and like I said, God would, and even these people ain't even got to be evil. Like, I don't think these people was evil. I do believe God was teaching me a lesson because I was being disobedient to his word. And so, like I said, it's a teachable moment for all of us. So like when I'm reading Saul, like it's amazing because I see myself. So it doesn't, and like I got so many stories that I practice share, but that was the one thing that I had to walk out because that was really hard for me, especially when you've been friends with someone for a long time, and you would think that most people like kind of fall out, because they arguing and stuff. But no, when the Lord's telling you walk away, you guys just do it because I'm telling you, like, things get worse, or you'll start to do things and it still backfires on you. And so who do you want to please, man, or do you want to please the Lord? Because that's the thing. God is looking for people who is willing to take heed to his word and who's willing to be obedient. And so, as humans, like, we're going to mess up. Yeah, you're going to mess up. But when he said that, so I've learned now, even with some of my clients that I have, when the Lord is telling me to walk away and not to reach back, or reach back out to them. And it's funny because I honestly, I thought it was so rude, but, what he's using me for, especially for what I do for a living, is really to help people. And it's weird, like, even though I'm in their homes cleaning and things, but it's really to help them. There's always something. And the Lord will reveal things to you, and he'll have you praying for these people. And so it's up to them. Like I said, I don't really know, like, if the Lord, he might be talking to him about something else. But I knew when he told me, like, the one client I ended up letting go. And I want to say that was maybe August or September. That was the last client I had let go. And I've been knowing these people for a very long time, even before I started cleaning. And, it's just my time was up. And it worked out because her husband ended up, he didn't retire, but he's at home working. So then that helped her. And so it's just the way it played out. I could not believe the last day God told me this was my last day with them, and then she was telling me, and I didn't even tell her what God said, because that was it. And I just sent her a message and just told her after this I was no longer going to be, cleaning for her. And, and she was like, well, I wish you well. And, one thing, she shared some things with me. And that was it, but I'm just saying, like, and honestly, it was peace. I mean, yeah, deep down, you probably like, oh, but it was still like a peaceful ending. And that's what you want. So if, I think about Jesus when he was telling that guy, in order to follow him, you got to let go of things. And people don't want to let go of the material things. So if you are a materialistic person, clearly, if God is telling you to just leave everything, I mean, I don't even care if he tell you leave that mansion, or just tell you just give it away because I have something better for you. I have something so much better for you. And, you might not think, you probably like, you know what? My house is the most expensive house on this block. Matter of fact, my house is probably the most expensive house, in this whole town or whatever. And so you don't want to give up with what you feel like you just worked so hard for. And he's going to tell you, like, well, then you're being disobedient. You're being clearly disobedient. And if he's telling you to let everything go, don't take none of the valuables in that house, and then you turn around, you're like, well, I'm going to take this. And, some people take their cabinets, like when they move, and I'm going to take the mirror off the wall, the vanity. And I mean, I even witnessed that when someone took the mirror off the wall in the bathroom, because they even though the people came in and wanted to buy the house, as is, the people like, oh, I'm taking this with me. And so, but I'm just saying, if God is telling you to leave everything, do not take anything with you. Just go, or otherwise you're going to have to learn the hard way. And like I said, all of us been through it. So yes, obedience is better than sacrifice. And we should remember that, because anybody can sacrifice something, even a non-believer sacrifice. But what is the fruit of it? What's the fruit of it? And so what do you gain out of it? You don't gain anything but what the Lord, you gain a deeper relationship with the Lord. You gain the ability to trust him more, and it's just that journey with him, because, sometimes we have to do that. And so I think about, I sacrifice like my job, I sacrifice my home. But if I can be honest, it's weird. That's what I said. Sometimes people, it'll affect you more if the Lord told you to walk away from your family. That's probably, it just depends on what's in your heart. You know what I mean? So, and not that he's not doing it to be a mean God or anything like that. He just know he has so much more for you. And if you stay, you're limited. Like, the Lord, he's going to bless you, but But when you being disobedient, it's just so disrespectful. You can think about it, if you got children and you tell them to do something and they halfway do it. Like I used to get on my girls all the time about that kitchen. People want to wash dishes and tell me, Mom, I cleaned the kitchen. But nobody want to wipe off the counters. Nobody want to wipe off the stove. I had one who just refused to wipe off that stove. They don't get that's part of the kitchen. And they just like, well, I cleaned everything else. Well, you got to clean the stove. And so, it's just one of those things. So we want to make sure we are following all the commands of the Lord. And read Psalms 119 is very lengthy, but I highly encourage you to read that, because that talks about you following the decrees and the demands of the Lord, or the commands of the Lord, and so you just want to line up with what he has for you. But I want to thank you guys, because yes, I gotta go and clean today. It makes me so excited, because I love talking to this client. So she's a really sweet person, her and her husband. But and just do what the Lord says. Some things, like I said, some things will come to an end, but just ask him to guide you, and you will have that. It'll be like this little peace, like just a little pause, and you'll just know it's him. I mean, yeah, you're probably like, oh man, I'm really gonna miss this, but that's okay. And it's okay, because he knows it. We're human, we're gonna miss things, but you'll see in the end, like, man, it was worth it. Just like when I sold my house, it was worth it. I got to clean for some of the I've been blessed to be able to clean for some people who have some beautiful homes. And so that just expands my way of, like, looking at things and looking at homes I've never been in. I was just telling my sister, and please don't be offended, I was like, here, when I bought my house, and be honest, I only paid $40,000 for that house. And so, and I just remember I was excited, because I was the first one in the family to buy a house. And, and it was, it was a decent home. Like, she pretty much gutted out the house, and I don't even know I think she got the house for like $10,000, and who knows what she made off of it. But I mean, it was just a decent little home. It was a starter home. And so, and of course, over the years, and it grows, 'cause I was in that house for like 15 years, but I was like, well, I probably would have bought an $80,000 home. Like I said, don't get offended. I'm just saying, like, I was looking at homes like that. And then as the Lord, started to show me things as I'm working and I'm learning, and I'm seeing all these homes, like, with 6 bathrooms and 5 bathrooms and 3 bathrooms. I mean, and I'm just looking like, wow, like, you got a family room, a den, an office. And so I'm seeing all these different things of, just big, high windows to the floor, like, and I'm just loving it. And it just kind of opened up the way I looked at things, and I'm not saying that I'm a materialistic person, but there's nothing wrong with wanting more. And so what I'm just saying is, I got all of that just out of, from me just being obedient and stepping away from the things. So I'm just looking, paying attention. I mean, like I said, these are just things that the Lord has kind of brought to my attention. So for you, it could be a business, maybe he's telling you to step your game up. Only way you're going to know if you walk away from maybe that business, or maybe invest a little bit more with him, so he can give you the wisdom and knowledge to run your business effectively. So, and that's another thing too. And sometimes that's what he wants us to do. He just wants us to, like, give up, even if it's TV. Like, I was talking to one person, they was like, they have to watch like something funny before they go to sleep at night. It just kind of helps them. And I get that. But I know that person kind of was saying they don't really make the time for the Lord. And so all I said was just pray to him, just pray to him. Because see, after a while, God will start to work on you. He'll send people to send little messages to you. You might be, like I said, riding down the street, one word, and the thing is, like, I think about this. I think about, like, a lot of people in those countries who don't even have Bibles or even churches. And I believe that the Lord would just speak to you, just speak to your heart. So, something, it takes time, it takes time to build that relationship with him. And so, and that's the thing. But, yes, you guys, be as obedient to the Lord, as much, like, don't worry. He'll tell you what to do, how to do it. I mean, God do give small details. I can honestly say, I witnessed that in my walk with him so far. So yes, the Lord speaks. Do not let nobody tell you that he doesn't. And yes, he will back it up. And here, a lot of times he'll say some things and he'll use someone else, like you watch a YouTube video and you'll be able to hear him. So yes, thank you guys again for just joining me on Crossover Ministries. My name is Nisha again. It's always a pleasure bringing you guys a word of encouragement. I just want to thank you guys again. And hey, if this is for you, subscribe. And if you feel like it's for someone else, please send it to them. But yes, the whole thing is, you guys, we just help one another. And that's what it's all about. So I just want to say thank you guys again. And may the Lord bless you guys always. Have a good day. Bye.